Now that you've completed your orthographic multi-view plans to scale, what we're going to do is figure out how much material we actually need to purchase here. So you'll need to get one of these sheets, which is called a bill of material. And we have a couple of things in here that we need to fill out. So we need to know the parts, part names, the thickness, width, and length for each part. Figure out how much that material is, how many of those parts we're actually going to need, and then what our total board feet is. Once we figure out our total board feet, we can add that together and multiply by our price per board foot. So for example, on this project here, I have a top, a back, and 2 brackets. So even though I have 4 pieces, I only have 3 parts. Part is defined by its uniqueness. So the bracket is exactly the same as the other bracket. That is considered to be 1 part but 2 pieces. Okay? So I should have 3 things listed in my part name section. So I'm going to say top, back, and bracket. And you could very easily have called this, if I wanted to, I could have said that this is part 1, and this is part 2, and this is part 3. It's up to you, as long as you have a system that works. Okay? So our thickness for the material is based off of whatever material you want to use. So let's say that I'm going to make all of my projects parts out of 3/4 inch pine. The width and length is going to change for each part. So my top is 6 inches wide by 16 inches long, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 inches long. When I do the math on that, I'm going to take my 6 to figure out my board feet calculation. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to take my thickness times my width times my length and then divide by 144. All right. If your thickness is less than 1 inch, we're going to exclude it. So mine's 3/4 inch. Notice that I wrote the measurement there, but I'm going to exclude it from my math. So I'm going to take 6, multiply that by 16, and then I'm going to divide that by 144. And that gives me 0.66 board feet. How many tops do I have? Well, I only have 1, so 0.6 times 1 is 0.6. The back for me, I have this unusual cutout here, so I'm going to treat it like the entire width from here to here, the widest part. So that for me is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll give 4.5 inches. So 4.5. And the length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 inches. So I'll take 4.5, 4.5, multiply that by 11, and then divide that by 144. And I get 0.34. How many backs do I have? I have 1, so I still get 0.34. The bracket is an unusual shape. So again, we're going to treat it from its widest spot and its longest spot here. Okay? So I'm 4 inches wide, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches long. So 4 inches by 6 inches. So I take 4 times 6, I divide that by 144, and I get 0.166. So we'll round that up to 0.17. How many of those do I have? Well, I have 2 brackets, so 0.17 times 2 is 0.34. Okay. So that's the math for everything. The last step that I need to do here is add up my total board feet. So I had 0.66 plus 0.34 plus 0.34, and I get 1.34 board feet. All right. The price per board foot is going to be listed. That's something that we'll know, and it'll change each year. If we're going to use pine, for example, right now pine, it costs us $1.25 a board foot. So I take my 1.34 and I multiply it by 1.25, and I get my price of 1.68. So $1.68. Okay? So make sure you do go through that properly. Your widths and your lengths are correct, and check your math. This is the price then for material if you're going to purchase it from me, what it would cost.